Shalawam, my name is Ahrayah and welcome back to a new show called Ahrayah Stories. And today I will be reading a book called The Fox and The Hound. It's actually like a Disney book. It's kind of like a Disney book. It has like 90 pages, I'm sure. Like 97 or 98 pages. Or maybe 99. And today I'll be reading it on camera. And now it's time to start the book. And one early morning, Big Mama the owl, who had been up all night hunting, was about to fall asleep when something caught her eye. It was a she fox. Well, it is a female fox. And then carrying a little cub in her mouth. The vixen quietly went up to a fence nearby a farm, gently put her cub on the ground. "Oh my goodness! She left her cub behind," cried Big Mama. As he watched, the vixen went away. "Maybe she wants to save her baby from hunters I heard in the forest last night," thought Little Fang. Big Mama had a very kind heart. She flew down from her branch to look at the cub. The tiny ball flew beep. "Okay, don't be afraid, little one," she whispered. "I'll think of something." Big Mama was very wise. She would soon come up with a plan, an idea. Just then, the two gunshots blasted off in the distance. The poor fox started to whimper. "Woo, woo, 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 woo!" called Big Mama. Urgently, her friends, Dinky the sparrow and Boomer the woodpecker, flew over to the fence. "Who is this?" asked Boomer, pointing at the little fox. "Why isn't he with his parents?" asked Dinky. Big Mama quickly explained what he had seen. "Did you hear those gunshots right just now?" The little fox said, "Oh, Bob! And we have to find him home before something happens to him." "Who lives in that farm over there?" asked Big Mama, who had an idea. "A very kind elderly widow," said Dinky. "Her name is Miss Tweet. She always treats me in winter. But will she want a baby fox?" "Oh," objected Boomer. "How will we bring him to her anyhow? Do you see that laundry drying in the sun? I am sure Miss Tweet will come down to the end of the field to pick it up if it had blown away," said Big Mama. "Follow me." And then the three birds flew over to the laundry line and picked some linen off of it. They flew back and wrapped the cub in linen. Then they went to a nearby tree and waited. Soon, Miss Tweed came out of her house to get a laundry. She was a little surprised that her tablecloth had blown away because there was no wind that morning. She went to pick it up as Big Mama said she would, and gasped when a tiny ball rolled out and onto the field. "Oh, little baby fox!" She cried as she picked the frightened animal up. "Have you been abandoned? I'll take care of you." She carried the cub into the house, while Big Mama, Dinky, and Boomer looked on and pleased the plan that had worked. Inside the house, Miss Tweet prepared a bottle of milk, and holding the cub like a baby, she fed him. "Since you found your way onto my farm and my tablecloth, I shall keep you, decided the kind old lady. Your name shall be Todd. With that, she gave her new friend a hug. Across from Mrs. Tweed's farm lived a hunter named Amos Sled. Today, Mrs. Tweed had found Todd. Amos brought back a little surprise for his old hound chef. Here's a friend and student for you, said Amos, handing him a mysterious bag. I trust you will take care of him and teach him how to hunt. His name is Cooper. Cooper's an adorable little puppy, but what am I gonna do with a puppy? Growled the grumpy chef. The chef was a courageous hunting hound, and he had hunted for Amos Sled for many years. And he was very proud as hares, quails, pheasants, and foxes as well. He helped his master catch chef, felt important. What would that silly puppy like Cooper amount to? You better obey me, growled the chef, looking mean. The little puppy licked the big black nose. Well, as long as you obey me, added the chef, softening up, everything should work out. Cooper has already won the big old hound's heart. Time went by. Todd grew a little stronger and bigger every day. So did Cooper. One morning, when he could not find Big Mama, Dinky, and Boomer to play with, he ventured out of the farm into the woods. He was busy sniffing all the excited scents. All of a sudden, he ran into Cooper. He was also sniffing. Oh great, someone to play with, thought Todd. He politely said hello. He's a funny looking dog, but he looks funny, thought Cooper. But he says hello back. Soon the Fox and the Hound were very good friends. Dun dun dun! They roamed through the woods and chased each other down paths and jumped into the pond together. Splash! They could not stop laughing. When it was time to go home, they vowed to spend every day together. Every day they met and played in the woods. But one morning, Cooper was not there. He decided to go look for him at Amos' house, and he found his friend tied to a dog house made of barrel. He was very surprised Miss Tweed never tied him up. Todd was even more surprised to find another dog, a lot bigger than Cooper, sleeping in the second barrel, and also tied up. Is this the chef? He asked his friend who had told him about the older companionship. He must be a very kind daddy, Todd added a little enviously. He stepped up to the chef and gave him a big friendly hug, but the old hound recognizes the scent of the enemy, the fox. Todd woke up growling. Todd stepped back, confused about why the chef wouldn't like him. Dun dun dun. Spooky. Before Cooper can even warn his friend, the chef leaped towards Todd. The frightened little fox ran away, but the chef furiously chased him, dragging They are dragging the barrel with him, barking madly. The hens clucked and fluttered in all directions as Todd wove his way through them. What a racket! Amos came out of his house with his gun and he fired a shot, thinking that Todd wanted to steal one of his hens. But the little fox was running away as fast as he could. Yeah. Ha ha! Leapt over the fence, tore up the road. And as this Miss Tweed was drove by, taking her milk to sell at the market, he jumped into the back of her truck and hid between the milk containers. This hid like in the milk containers. And when Miss Tweed and Tom returned from the market, an angry Amos was waiting for them at the door. I don't want your wicked hens near my... I don't want your wicked fox near my hand. Do you hear? Do you understand? He shouted. Next time, I'll shoot him. Don't you dare shoot my fox, Mr. Slade. He is a well-behaved pet, and he will not go near your chickens. I bet you'll scare him, she whined firmly. Now get off my property, she ordered. Miss Tweed did not know what happened to Todd, but she could tell from his frightened and innocent look that he did not do anything wrong. What Amos meant, what he had said through, thought the old lady. Oh, I'd better keep him inside the house, or that mean hunter may hurt him. So she kept Todd inside the house and took him out every day for walks. Todd was soon very bored. He missed the fresh air and fun he had with Big Mama Dinky and Boomer. He also missed Cooper and often wondered how his friend was. One morning, Todd said to himself, I am bigger and stronger. Nothing will happen to me. I'll sneak out of the house to Auntie Cooper. He went from the window to window. He found one ajar. He squeezed out through the opening. He headed straight through the woods to Amos's house. Then Todd heard a loud bang and the engine start. Amos, Chef, and Cooper in the car driving away. He sat proudly in the front by the master, but Cooper did not seem pleased in the back. Chef explained to that lazy dog that we are going to teach him to hunt, shouted the hunter. See, the chef growled in Cooper's direction. What a wonderful morning, he sang, skipping. Never mind. What a wonderful morning, he sang, skipping up the path. I can't wait to see Cooper. Maybe we can play together, he thought happily. He had not forgotten all about the mean chef. When he got to Cooper's house, He carefully looked around, but there was no one there. Todd watched them leave. They were going to hunt. But what did that mean? They were going to take some poor animal who did not hurt them? Cooper would never do that, Todd thought. He's a good dog. He was sad to see his friend go, but ran over to Big Mama and explained what he had seen. What will happen to Cooper? He asked her. Cooper will just be fine. She told him, he'll learn how to track for animals. Amos is a hunter. During the hunting season, he catches animals for food and their furs. Cooper will help him find the animals. But that's awful, Big Mama, he told him in a shiver as he went down his spine. Don't worry, Tom. You'll be all right. Miss Tweed said the owl and he gave him a hug. Days flew by. Winter came. Todd was lonely and missed Cooper very much. Every day he looked out the window hoping to see him. Then one day he saw big white feathers falling from the sky. That's snow, explained Miss Tweed. As soon as a white mantle covered the countryside, it was cold outside. Dinky and Boomer huddled under a squirrel's hat, which no longer frightened them. Big Mama was sleeping in a tree trunk. Everything was quiet. Todd is lucky, said Dinky to Boomer. He must be so warm outside. But it's cold out here, agreed the woodpecker. And it Todd in Arizona, though. Meanwhile, high up in the mountains, Cooper was learning how to hunt, how to track under the chef's supervision. He had grown a lot and was big as chef. He felt urged to hunt and had learned to recognize all different kinds of scents. The chef was very proud of his students. Progressed Amo Peaswell. Cooper would make a wonderful hound for the next hunting season. And he will be very good, Amos told himself. Winter slowly gave way to spring. The leaves grew back on the trees, and green flowers sprang up from the fields, and birds chirped in the countryside. Todd had grown a lot through winter. He was a very handsome fox. The first day Miss Tweed had let him out, he ran out to see his friend Dinky, Boomer, and Big Mama. How tall you are! How tall you are! Squeaked Dinky. And how good looking too, added Boomer. And to think he was only a ball of fur a few months ago, said Big Mama proudly. I mean, well, he was like as I said in the beginning, he was like a big, he was a little small ball of fur. All of a sudden, a loud rumbling noise broke out the countryside. Todd ran to see Amos, the chef, and Cooper driving up the road. This time, Cooper sat next to his master, and the chef was in the back. Cooper's back, Todd cried, Joy. I'll go see him tonight. Watch out, Todd. Cooper has grown. He's a Cooper is a grown hound now. He's learned to hunt, warned Big Mama. Don't worry, Big Mama. I'll be very careful, replied Todd. Wait until the chef is sound asleep to see Cooper. That night, Mr. Tweed had to go to bed. Todd slipped out of the house, ran over to the animal's house. Cooper immediately recognized his old friend, but he was not happy to see him. You have to go, Todd. I am a hound now, and I hunt foxes. You are not safe here, he warned the fox. I'm just not any fox, said Cooper. I'm your friend, possessed Todd. Sorry, but I can't be your friend anymore. I was born to hunt your kind. That's the way it is, he said firmly. Todd was very disappointed. He could not understand why Cooper did not want to be his friend anymore. A howl stopped him. In his thought, Chef had awakened, smelling the fox. The fox started to bark. What? Smelling the fox, the old hound started to bark, pulling his tail, freeing himself. Todd leapt away, and starting to run, he remembered only too well how the chef chased him once before, and 3 gunshots went off at night. Todd panicked. Amos would shoot him if he saw him. All of a sudden, he remembered how angry the hunter had been. The fox zigzagged through the field, running as fast as he could. Todd was afraid that he lost his way. He climbed a little hill and skidded down the slope. Quickly, he slipped underneath a pile of lumber next to some railroad tracks. He panted and shaking with fear when Cooper came up to him. Amos and the chef are coming after you. One that way, he said, pointing up the tracks to a bridge. I've led him another way. I don't want them to find you. Good luck. With that, Cooper left. Todd was very happy that Cooper was his friend after all. He ran up the railroad tracks as his friend had told him with lightness in his heart. All along, but a nasty surprise waited for him at the bridge. The chef had not been fooled by Cooper's division. When he saw Todd, the hound started to run and bark triumphantly. All of a sudden, a thundering sound shook the bridge. It was a train coming at high speed. Todd definitely flattened himself between the railroad tracks, the rails. But the chef was not so lucky. He just boldly tried to jump to the other side, but off the bridge but he fell into the bridge on the railroad below. The ravine below. Todd was terrified as the train passed over him, but the train went by and he was not hurt. The fox slowly made it to Miss Tweed's house, hoping that the chef would be all right. On the way home, he thought, Big Mama was right. This is a dangerous world for a fox to live in. But Cooper's my friend after all. He thought that would cheer him up. But Cooper had found his friend in the woods. And in the woods, wait. Blah, 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 blah. In the woods, in the ravine was filled with anger and confusion as he licked his friend's wounds, waiting for Amos to fetch them. He started to blame for Todd's accident. "I will avenge you," he told the chef. "I won't allow Todd to ever hurt you like this again. He's a fox, and I hunt foxes. They are not my friends. Why did I ever let them get away?" When Todd came back into the house, he slipped his foster into his mother's arms. Comfort. Soon he had found out where had Todd been. Someone was banging at the front door. It was Amos. He was very mad. "You stupid fox almost got my hand killed!" He screamed, shaking his fist. "You have no right keeping a mean and wild animal in your home. Mrs. Sled, you are mean and wild. Leave my fox alone," she shouted. "Good night." The hunter walked away, swearing revenge. Dang, that was pretty cold. Miss Tweed was disturbed by what Amos had said. "I am sure Todd will never hurt a soul," she thought. "But Todd is a fox, and foxes are supposed to live in the woods, not farms. And I can't keep him inside the house all the time. He needs to roam in the forest. That's in nature. What should I do?" Okay. Miss Tweed wanted two things. She wanted Todd to stay alive, and she wanted him to be happy. She decided to take him to wildlife nearby. No one was allowed to hurt animals there, and animals would have to leave Todd alone. Next morning, she brought her little friend there and took off his collar and said goodbye. "Now be good," she told him. "I hope you make a lot of friends. And don't be sad. You'll be very happy here." After Miss Tweed had gone, Todd had felt very sad. He couldn't understand why he had been taken away from his friends and his home. "What will I do now?" He thought sadly as he walked into the strange forest. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm not really crying. Okay. Amos watched Miss Tweed come back from wildlife alone. He could not see Todd anywhere, so he went up to the farm and asked, "Where's Todd?" "He won't bother you anymore, Miss Missler. I've taken him into wildlife," he replied unhappily. Amos ran back in his home. "That wicked fox won't get away," he thought. I can't hunt in sanctuary, but I've got an idea." He took out some tools and made a trap. As Cooper looked on, "We'll catch that fox with this, Cooper," he said. He told his hound. He will step into it and snap. It will close on his leg. Wait until the chef sees this. The old hound was resting with his hurt leg in a bandage. Cooper snarled his approval. Meanwhile, Wildlife Sanctuary, Meanwhile, in Wildlife, Big Mama was very busy looking for Todd. The owl had found out what had happened from Dinky and Boomer. She was very worried. What would happen to Todd? He did not know how to survive in the forest because he always lived on a farm. She looked and looked but could not find him. Then she ran into a beautiful fox, a beautiful she-fox. Her name was Vixie. "Have you seen a handsome and kind fox around?" asked Big Mama. "No, I haven't," replied Vixie, "but I'll help you look for him if you like." So Big Mama and Vixie set out to find Todd. Todd was not very far away. He spent the night curled up in the curve of a branch. He had not seen Big Mama but it wasn't very comfortable. He had not slept very well, and he was having miserable thoughts. He turned around to get more comfortable, and he slipped off the branch and landed right on top of a badger who was coming out of his burrow. "Ouch! Go home!" snarled the badger. "I wish I could, but I don't have a home anymore," said Todd politely. "Well, you can't stay with me," snorted the unfriendly animal. Todd sadly walked away, longing for his friends. "Where will I go now?" he thought. "There must be a place for me to live. How I wish I were back at the farm." He followed a path through the woods, dragging his tail on the ground. It was Big Mama who saw him first. "Look, Vixie, there he is!" cried the owl. Vixie let out a gasp. He did not expect to see Todd so handsome. Then, I cannot say it, but I have to. Todd heard a cry and turned around, hoping to see a funny face. When he saw the fox, the lovely she-fox, his face lit out. He lit up. Wow. He thought how beautiful she is, but then he saw Big Mama. "Big Mama, is that really you?" he cried. The owl gave him a big hug. "I am so happy to have to find you." But she said, "This is Vixie. I hope you can become good friends." Todd blushed. He had already fallen in love. Okay? Vixie could tell that Todd was really hungry. She volunteered to take him downstream and teach him how to hunt. I mean the fish, not hunt. Accidentally said hunt. Then Big Mama called woo 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 for Dinky and Boomer, who had also been looking for Todd. They came flying and congratulated Big Mama on finding their friends. The owl introduced them to Vixie. "Isn't she beautiful?" whispered Dinky to Boomer. "Yes, she is. and and Todd seems to think so too. Giggled Boomer as they watched the two foxes fighting. What a handsome couple they make, he added. By the afternoon, Amos was ready to catch Todd. He had made 3 traps and used pillows to cut them open. The barbed wire surrounded wildlife and snickering with the competition. A competition? What is the word?
Competition?
A competition? Okay. I didn't even know that word. Cooper was with him and he ordered the hound to find Todd's trap. Cooper put his nose to the ground and within minutes he had found Todd's scent. He led him to a tree and was laid the traps on their path by the tree and covered the leaves. Good work, Cooper, he congratulated the hound. If that fox came here, been here once, he'll be back. Let's wait for him. The hunters settled behind a hillock. In a short time, they heard some noises. Amos and Cooper looked over the hump. Todd and Vixie was sitting further up the path, sitting side by side. They were saying goodbye to each other. Big Mama, Dinky, and Boomer had left earlier so that the 2 foxes could be alone. Can I see you tomorrow? Todd asked silly. Vixie nodded yes. She was very happy. Todd, I cannot say it. Okay, let me say it. Todd kissed Vixie goodbye and strolled back to his tree. A shiny object. No, the book fell out. Yikes! I can't believe this happens. Yikes! 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 And then he strolled back to his tree, and a shiny object caught his eye. He pushed a pebble at it. Then the steel jaw of one of Amos's traps snapped shut. Todd jumped back in fear. At that moment, Amos had stood up. He was furious that Todd had outwitted him. He raised his gun to shoot, but Todd ran away. Todd ran the backup path after Vixie setting off Amos's other 2 traps. Vixie is the one. Soon Todd caught up with Vixie and explained to her what happened. Follow me. I'll take you to my burrow. We'll be safe there, she said. Todd and started to run. Todd followed her through the woods and slipped into the opening of her burrow. But Amos had sent Cooper after them. The hound saw them disappear into the ground. Dun, dun, dun. But what they did is go in a burrow. Todd had never been in a burrow before. This is big, he said to Vixie. I hope we can raise a family here one day. She explained shrilly. Todd blushed. Maybe they would have a family together. He had forgot all about Amos and Cooper. That, and said, that would be good. Wonderful, Raymond. Just then, a strange smell crept into the burrow. What is that smell? asked Todd. It sort of smelled like Miss Tweed's kitchen. Smoke! Vixie cried in alarm. It's smoke! They had found us. They have found us. Todd did not understand. When the hunter finds a burrow, he explained Vixie. Quickly, he lights a fire at one opening. He knows the smoke will drive it out and through the back exit. Oh, we will die. We're trapped. Our only chance is to jump through the fire, and Amos will be waiting for us at the other exit. They gotta wait. They gotta go inside the fire. Todd and Vixie courageously jumped out of the burrow through the fire. Vixie was right. Amos was waiting for them at the other exit, which Cooper had found. The two foxes ran up the mountainside along the river, safely to the safety of the woods. But Cooper spotted them, and Amos was more determined to get them. He ordered his hound to chase them. Cooper led the chase, barking loudly. He put everything into his keeping with the two foxes, and Amos followed him, proud of his hound's dimension. Todd and Vixie ran for their lives and plunged ahead, jumping over the rocks and weaving through the trees. They could not understand why his old friend was chasing him after what happened to them. Look what's on their side. They leaped over the river. Stone from stone, they darted through the middle. Cooper and Amos soon have followed, but they went straight into a huge grizzly bear who was tracing the field. The bear had not seen many humans before and was angry in instruction. With a great roar, he stood himself on his hind legs and towered over the hunter. You ask me, bears are strong. Amos dropped his gun and let out a scream of panic. Bears are dangerous, like I just said. When they are disturbed, and Amos was afraid. He started to run away, but stepped into an old trap, long forgotten, on the ground. The trap snapped closed on his foot, with a loud snap, Amos screamed in pain and fell to the ground. Dang. Falling on the ground, ooh, that hurts. That hurts bad. The bear started to move closer and furious that the intruders were not leaving his territory. Despitefully, he tried to get the trap off of his foot. Cooper bravely stood between his master and the wild animal, barking and growling. But the bear was not afraid when Cooper attacked. He swept the dog off the feet with his paw. Amos screamed again, hoping to scare the bear away. But the grizzly was satisfied that the hound played unconsciously, turned towards the hunter again. When Todd heard the barking, Cooper's barking, and Amos's scream, "Fixie!" he stopped. "Fixie, listen! I think something awful is happening to Cooper and Amos. I think, no, I already read that," he alarmed. "I must go back and find out." Victor was surprised. How can you be so considerate after they tried to kill us? We are lucky to be alive. And I think we must get as far as we can. I can't fix it. You go ahead. I can't abandon Cooper. He's my friend," said Todd, and he headed back to the Meadow. "Be careful," he called Vixie after him. "Be careful, Todd. Be careful." When Todd reached the Meadow, he was horrified. An animal 10 times larger than Cooper loomed over his friend. But Cooper was trying to get back on his feet, but he was still stunned by the bear's blow. Amos laid on the ground in pain. Todd watched the beast move heavily for his friend. Quickly, the only way I can help is if I take advantage of my speed and size. Todd darted in front of the bear, and the bear, who was stopped short, trying to figure out who had crossed his path. The fox spun and jumped on the animal's back and bit his ear. The bear roared before he could shake off the attacker. Todd was nipping its ankles. Amos couldn't believe his eyes. But the bear was waving mad down the bear was waving mad now and when the little red fox ahead, he took off him after. He led Cooper straight towards Amos towards the river. And at the river, Todd stepped into an old tree trunk, reaching over the tumbleweed rapids. The bear followed him, but reached out over the water convenience, and he cornered his prey. But the trunk rotted by age, and the water gave way. With a terrifying crack, both the bear and the fox plunged into the torrent below and crashed into the water, but below and fell silent. Todd swam to the bank onto the ground, and he was exhausted. Just when he looked up, Amos loomed over him with his shotgun and aimed it at him. Disbelief, he had saved Amos's life, the hunter's life. What would he do? But shoot him after all? Would Amos shoot him after all? The fox was too exhausted to run. He sat still and recognized to his fate. Just as Amos was about to fire, Cooper jumped in front of his friend. He was grateful that Todd had outrageously save their lives. If Amos shoots you, will have to shoot me too, said the hound to his friend. Cooper looked at his mouth and lit out a little box. Wait, did I just say a little box? I mean a little book, not a box. Amos was confused. He thought a minute, then he lowered his gun and said, Cooper, you're right. Your friend should go free. Thanks for saving us, little fox. With that, he turned and walked away. The animals breathed out a sigh of relief. Todd followed Cooper to the edge of the forest. He was happy that they were friends again. Goodbye, Cooper, he said. I must go and find Vixie. Goodbye, Todd, and thank you, he called after him. Amos left what is that word? I'm not gonna get that word right. This word. This word. Sanctuary. That's it. He headed straight toward Miss Tweed's farm. She was very surprised to see him. You are right, Miss Tweed, he told her. Your fox is awfully nice. He explained everything that Todd had done. The old lady beamed with pride. She was happy to know that Todd was safe. Shall I take care of your first? He volunteered. Amos was delighted. He was beginning to like the window after all. Amos and Miss Tweed became good friends. The Shalawam healed his time, and the old forgave Todd, and the old hound forgave Todd after he heard that the fox saved his master and Cooper's life. And I thought foxes were bad. He would stay in disbelief. Cooper was often thought of his brave friend, and wondered how he fought into the wood. Here's the last page. Todd and Vixie were very happy, and they often sat on a cliff looking over the valley. They wished their friends were below much happiness. Do you know what the two most beautiful things in the world are? Todd once told Vixie. Love and friendship. She agreed, and they lived happily ever after. Time for the joke of the day. Why did the lion hate the cheetah? It's because the cheetah was faster than the lion. Shalom, that's it for today. I'll see you next week. Shalom. Bye.